Hi, Rachel Mills with Making Crates Needlecraft class. Today we're going to be crocheting. If you don't have a crochet hook, that might be a bit difficult, but if you don't have one right now, you can always go and get one and then come back to this video once you have one. We begin crochet just like we begin knitting. We begin with the slip knot. So over there, pull the tail, slip knot. Now for crochet we don't really need to worry about the ends being very long because there's no sort of long tail cast on in crochet. It's only one cast on and it's quite easy. It's called chaining. So we start with the slip knot on our hook. So now I'm pinching. You might find another position that you like better, but I like to have my yarn and go under this one. So really just between these two and pinching it. And then I can sort of bring them over these and then bring this pinky over here. You can have a good look at that and a good look at that. I'm just sort of holding these and pinching like that, and it gives me some nice tension. So, and then I can kind of move my hands around and everything. I like to hold my tail with my thumb and middle finger, and then I can pull the hook through here. Let me bring it a little bit closer for you. I'm just pulling it through there. I find this the quickest and easiest way to crochet. You actually want to be careful not to go too tight. I think I've gone a little bit too tight there. It's going to make things a bit difficult. So I'm going to go a little bit looser, not really have this like intense tension that I had in the beginning. Just so it's nice and loose. See how there's a little bit of slack in this? I'm kind of trying to get the tension from my wee pinky back there so it doesn't fly away on me. And I can just go and go and go and go. What you're basically doing, and another way I used to do as a child when I first began, is to wrap it over this way. So you have your hook, wrap it over, wrap it over, wrap it over, because that's basically what you're doing. But you're going to be there for a while, and it is good to get used to the sort of flow that you get when you just pull it through that to get the proper tension, because otherwise you will be chaining for a little longer than you need to, and your chains won't quite look as nice. I think those were the ones I was doing the sort of wrapping it over. But anyways, now you have a nice wee chain. So once you have a wee chain and you get really good at doing a chain, honestly you can just keep working on them for ages and just make a whole bunch of little chains using as wee bookmarks and things, little worms and the like. But yes, once you have that, so we have this side which has these V's, right? And this side that has the bumps. So now we're going to go over to one of the bumps. We're going to skip that bump, but we're going to go over to this bump and we're going to slip it under. So we just get the bump on our needle, on our hook, and the V's are over there at the back, if you can see. So then I'm going to pull through. So I have 2 loops, and then I'm going to pull through again, and that's called a single crochet. And now I'm going to put it through the bump, the back bump, pull through again. That wee back bump, pull through again, through that back bump, pull through again, through the back bump, pull through again. Putting it in that bump, that can be kind of the difficult part. And that's why you need to be sure that your tension isn't too tight. pull through again. One way that I used to do it, I used to actually go through the V's, but I find going through the back bit, the back bumps, just makes your crochet look a lot nicer. So the sooner you get into good habits like that and the sooner you get used to them, the better. Better to learn with good habits and make it a little bit harder in the beginning than to learn bad habits and then make it a lot harder later on to unlearn them. It's actually quite a bad wee bump. I might even just skip it, which is bad. Don't skip bumps. I'll have to do it off screen actually. Let's see, that's an example of a chain that I did way too tight and it's just a pain to get through. There we go. Through the back bump, crochet, crochet. I actually have a huge long chain to work on, so I'm actually not going to work on all of it. But once I've gotten to the end of my chain, that is when I chain one. Once I've gotten to the end of doing the single crochets, okay, we're good still, I think. Once I've gotten to the end of the single crochets, I'll chain one, turn it over, and then insert it right there underneath these two V's, and this is when everything gets a lot easier. I just keep inserting it under these V's. I'm just hooking the yarn through. Hooking the yarn through. Hooking the yarn through. And hooking the yarn through to the very end. And then I will do it once again. I will chain one, I'll flip it over, and right over there, underneath these two V's, I will pull through again, underneath these V's, pull through again, underneath the next set of V's, pull through again, 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 insert, pull through, and pull through again. There we are. And there we go, a little piece of crochet, and I'll just keep doing that and I'll have a lovely wee piece of crochet. So you chain and single crochet. There's other techniques such as double crochet, triple crochet, half double crochet, but that might be for a later date. Alrighty, now I want to talk about crocheting in the round. The really cool thing about crochet is all you need is the hook. So you can do all these sort of round situations and not have to tie anything up or sew anything off like you sometimes have to do in knitting if you don't have the double pointed needles. So with crochet, crocheting in the round, we start with the slip knot. I completely blanked there. But we don't fully do it. We tighten it a wee bit, but it's not fully done there. And then I put my needle through and I tighten the end attached to the yarn. I don't tighten this bit, which will pull it small, which will pull the entire slip knot small. So I pull that nice and taut, or not super taut, but just there. And then I chain. Sometimes I chain two. Today I think I'm only going to chain one. And now I put my needle into the circle, go in, pull it in, and then pull it through again. And we're just single crocheting. So just in the circle, we're going to single crochet. We're going to single crochet. We're going to single crochet about 6 stitches, I think. Just because I just did a pattern with 6 stitches and that's all I can think about. So we can count them actually. If you see the 2 V's, 1, 2. 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. 6. And now that I have that, I can grab the tail, this tail here, and I can pull it. Nice and tight, not too tight because I don't want to break it or anything, but nice and tight. And there we go, I have this little bit. So now, over here, the next sort of V next to the hook, I'm going to insert my needle and I'm going to knit or crochet 1 stitch in there, and then I'm going to crochet another stitch in the exact same hole because we're knitting in the round, so we want to keep it flat. So we're going to be increasing our stitches. That's the thing with crochet, crocheting flat. You can sometimes accidentally increase stitches or decrease stitches by either forgetting to crochet the single crochet. If you don't do that little single crochet, if you don't do that little chain at the end when you're crocheting flat, you can decrease your stitches. Or if you accidentally do a stitch in the same, you'll be increasing them. So that can be a thing with crochet, to be careful not to increase when you don't mean to, and to increase or decrease when you don't mean to, whichever one. So now the next stitch, we're going to do 2 stitches in there, and then we're going to do 2 stitches in the next one. So we remember we have 6 stitches, so we should be counting them. So we've just done 3 stitches there. So 3, 4, we've done 2 stitches in it, 5, remember we've done 2 stitches in it, 6, and we've done 2 stitches in that one. And now, a really good thing to have around actually is to have a wee safety pin. You can stick a wee safety pin right over there to remind yourself this is where the round ends and begins. And then as you create a bigger circle, you're able to move your little safety pin up but keep it at that same area so that you know this is where it ends, this is where it begins. For now, I'm gonna go grab one, I think, actually. Alrighty, so I'm back and I've got my safety pin. So I'm going to put it right over here, and I'm going to remember that the big side over here is pointed towards the actual top. So this part might confuse a little bit because it's like, oh no, does it end and begin here or here? But no, the top. The top is where it ends and begins. And that'll help me out. We call that a stitch marker. You can get like kind of fancy ones at the shop that can be like colourful and things. But honestly, a safety pin works just as well, and it's a lot of the time way cheaper. So I personally prefer a safety pin. I rather spend my money on nice yarn and things like that. So I'm going in and doing a single crochet. So I've done my single crochet once, and I'm going to do it twice in the same exact wee stitch there. You can actually see there are these 2 little sections. 1, 2. And then I'm going to do 1 in 1 stitch. What's going to happen? Now I'm going to do 2. 1, 2. So you can see 1, 2, and then this one's just 1. You can kind of see that. This one's 1, this one has 2 stitches in it. And now we do a 1 stitch. Now we have to be careful not to get caught on that stitch marker. A 1 stitch and a 2 stitch. one stitch, and a two stitch, and a one stitch, and a two stitch. Whoop, we have to move him down. There we go. Did I do my two stitches yet? No, I haven't, because look, he's only one in there, so he needs a friend. Two stitch. This one doesn't need a friend because it's in between the two stitches. And there we are. That's us finished that so far. That's us finished that round. So now the next round, instead of one stitch in between the increases, it's two stitches in between the increases. So it's two stitches in this one stitch, right? That's that. And now one stitch there, no company. One stitch there, no company. And one, two together, because we had our two stitches in between, and our one stitch, and our other stitch. So that's two in between. That's one, two, and then one in one stitch, here we go, and one, two in that stitch, one, two between. And I'm going to quickly finish this up, this round up, because I'm sure you get the idea. And now at this point, what shall we do? We shall knit or crochet two in one stitch, single crochet two in one stitch, and now instead of doing two stitches, just plain stitch by stitch in between, we have three stitches in between. And now the next is two together. There we go. There's the two stitches inside that one stitch, and there are the single stitches. Here we are. There's the two stitches, there's the one stitch, one stitch, one stitch, and then there's the two again. So now we do 1, 2, 3, and on the fourth, double. 1, 2, 3, and 2 in there, so double. 1, 2, 3. Try to focus that. And double. Double in there, and there, that's us. So then we keep going as we go round. So now the next round, it's the 4 stitches between, and then after that, after you get to the end of that, it'll be 5 stitches in between, and then 6, and then 7, and as you keep going, it keeps increasing because you want it to be flat. This is actually a great way to make a hat. I would maybe do maybe up till 7, give that a shot, and then just start doing, stop increasing and just crocheting around and around and around and around and not doing any sort of 2 stitches in one, just every stitch has its one, right? Not putting double together, not increasing, because that's what we're doing, we're increasing. So then at that point, about like 7, where there's 7 between, I would say, okay, now I'm just going to do that, and I'd get a nice wee hat. So that is a wee tip for yourself. So that is how we chain, single crochet, and crochet in the round, as well as basically make a hat. So congratulations! I'll see you. I hope you're all well and safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.